All right. Hi, I'm Nick Powell, City Hall Bureau Chief with City and State. Joining me on today's City and State TV is Avik Kabessa, the CEO of Carmel and a board member of the Livery Roundtable. Thank you for joining us today, Avik.
Thank you very much for having me.
So, Avik, we're here to talk about Vision Zero. Tell me a little bit about how the plan affects the livery drivers specifically. I think there's been somewhat of an unfair stigma placed on livery and taxi drivers as kind of the villains in this Vision Zero battle. Can you kind of explain where you stand on that?
Well, first, the Livery Roundtable is absolutely in support of Vision Zero because we think it's a noble cause, and fatalities on the road do need to stop or decrease at least significantly. And about the stigma, we don't know yet. That's why we are at the hearing, and we appreciate the fact that we are being given a chance to talk. We're used to, in the old administration, for them to pull out numbers out of a hat. But we're very familiar with the new one, and we hope that they will take a different approach. So our testimony today is about that exactly, that hold on, we are actually not part of the problem. Do not go after us without any data, and take a different approach. If there was ever an opportunity for the administration to take a good cause and go about it slightly different, Vision Zero is one of them. So yeah, I mean, we are in support of Vision Zero. We are part of the solution. So stigma or not, we do not know. The knee-jerk reaction of coming up with those rules was expected, but we hope to change our mind. So.
And to that end, how do you hope to change their minds? I understand you have some data that maybe will change the perspective of the city government and Department of Transportation.
Perfect question. So there's not even one single data that will support doing anything more punitive to the delivery industry, or for that matter, even the yellow or the entire for-hire industry. There are only two reports out there, very detailed reports out there. One of them was published in 2006 by Bruce Scheller, who is a guru of transportation in the city of New York, and he's under Bloomberg. He took a position as a deputy mayor, and his report indicates that the safest way to travel is when you actually ride in a livery car, and next safe is the taxi, and the least, i.e. the most risky and high chance of getting into an accident will be other drivers. And I'm almost talking about double the risk. So this was in 2004. The data was up to 2004. It was published in 2006. So some would say, maybe it's things have changed. But then there is a report by the UTRC, which is the University Transportation Research Center, which is as late as 2010, that again reinforces the fact that it's safer to ride on a livery and taxi than it is to ride to. So the risk of and if you want me to quote, I will quote one of the summaries. Sure. So they say here, and I quote, private passenger cars dominate pedestrian KSI. KSI is killed or severely injured crashes, accounting for 79 of the total KSI. Even in taxi-saturated Manhattan, only 13% of pedestrian KSI crashes involve taxi or livery. So we do not know if the City Council of the committee knows this data. We're going to bring it to their attention. The chairman, Rodriguez, has been indicating in every possible way that he wants to listen. So we're going to call on the City Council to hold off any punitive because there's no data to support it, and we want to sort of offer alternative solutions that make us look better. I think will be more effective and will help this great vision of Vision Zero.
Now, this is all very interesting data and probably information that a lot of our viewers and our readers don't necessarily know, and I think again it reinforces this idea that that taxis and livery cars are safe. But I'm curious now, why do you think, where does the stigma come in that they are not safe? I mean, what is that, just a reputation that's been that's been unfounded in some ways? I mean, because it seems like obviously you have to be licensed, you have to be a safe driver to be a livery or a taxi driver. So how does the data doesn't seem to dovetail with the reputation?
It's funny because I don't know, I can only speculate, but even Bruce Scheller, when he found out the numbers, starts his paragraph by saying, surprisingly,
Right.
So I would assume that when you see a taxi or a livery involved in an accident, you're thinking it's all taxis, versus when you see an Audi involved in an accident, you don't think it's all Audi, right? So I believe this is I think and this is also many years ago, I think that we were less regulated. There was not strict enforcement. There was a big revision done in accountability laws. Insurance companies, and this is where we are deriving our alternative solution. Insurance companies stopped looking at the livery industry as a blanket and started looking at each and every specific driver and reward safe drivers. We have drivers that are paying 30 to 35% less in premium because they have been driving, they've been safe drivers with no accidents, with no points, and that has proven as the best tactic. So positive reinforcement, we believe, are the best way to go about it. Carmel specifically, I can tell you for what we do, we constantly send safety tips to our drivers. Things like expect the unexpected. There's data supports that the majority of cases where pedestrians are being hurt is when the driver makes a left turn. So there's something about a left turn that we still need to investigate. This data also should support that a left turn arrow should probably be installed in more and more junctions. But so we send a message like, left turn carry higher risk, please watch out. We send message like, if you do see an elderly person crossing the road, expect vision impairity, that there might be vision impaired or hearing impaired. So that's education. Positive reinforcement, as I say, from the insurance. Education. Then we take each and every case and we analyze the cause. Was this fatigue? Was it avoidable? What can be learned from it? So the Livery Roundtable has decided to be a part of the solution, as I said, and we are a page in our website will actually be Livery Vision Zero, where we want people to report reckless driving, we want people to report accidents, and we think that, and we are supporting the fact that the city wants to do the same. So the City Council wants to instruct the city's IT department to develop data as far as crashes, so they can have solid numbers to use. We believe that drivers will be less inclined to be completely open and disclose everything when they deal with the government. So we're giving them sort of a different way out where they can anonymously report why did I have this accident? Who am I blaming for the accident? And learn from it. We will analyze those cases and take them to the TLC so we can come up with rules. So Vision Zero is not going to start and end in one day. It's a process. And a careful analysis and monitoring of every step needs to be done. So I hope, again, we really believe in the new administration trying to do things different, and we hope to convince the council.
Now, there have been several Vision Zero hearings in all of the boroughs, and have you presented this data? And I'm curious if you have, what the reaction has been from everyday civilians who might not have been aware that it actually is a very safe, regulated industry.
We did not. We were actually collecting information when those town hall meeting started, and one of the reports is 50 pages, the other report. So we wanted to make sure we're not misleading anybody before we come up with the conclusions. We did, however, say we started challenging the data of why would you even go after delivery. But those town hall meetings did not have that approach of going after delivery. Those town halls meetings were more for asking the people, the residents of the borough, what would you like to see done? So there was not, this is what we're going to do. It was more, what would you like to done and to be done? And we heard some nice suggestions. For example, the counter of the red light, when it start telling you how long you have before it's going to change to red. A lot of people think that should be covered in all other traffic lights. The left turn signal, left turn arrow, as we mentioned. The bike lane issue, the fact that electric cars, people with that are visually impaired, cannot hear them, or I'm sorry, deaf cannot hear them. So those were the things that came about. Our testimony was more of, we want to go, we are part of the solution, we want to go with education, we want to go with positive reinforcement. So, and you can see how, I think the chairman, Rodriguez, and especially people I believe, I don't speak on their behalf, but their body language to me was they're ready to listen, and it's slightly different. So that motivated us to dig even deeper into the reports, and we were very, very happy to find that the reports support what we believe. So, Mayor de Blasio is often quoted saying, if it's not broken, don't fix it. Well, we're going to present the data to the city council that says not only it's not broken, it's a success story. So I think that what we are saying, when somebody is a success story, when an industry is the safest, you do not reward it by becoming more punitive just because you can. They may not be able to go after Mr. Smith, the regular person in the street, or the regular driver, but just because you can go after this industry, you shouldn't. Again, we have no indication that they're going to push strongly for it. We believe they are open for discussion, and that's our hope. Our hope is that we will help take this new administration into a new approach, and that's why we testify.
So what's the next step after you testify before the City Council and present this data? Will there be further discussions between you and DOT, or you and Councilman Rodriguez, who chairs the Transportation Committee? What's I guess, can you take us through kind of the process there?
We believe that, Liver Roundtable is going to meet with the Taxi Limousine Commission, and this is going to be part of the topics. We want to see what can the TLC do as far as education. We're going to share with them what our plans for the education, how can the two efforts cooperate, or at least have some kind of coordination, what's going to be the line of communication of the things we find, etc. We do have a promise from the chairman of the Transportation Committee to meet with him at least one more time to discuss what is going to be proposed to be voted on. So I think the process is being done very properly. We cannot claim we were not given a chance to be heard, and we hope that will make our case. You can only hope for that.
Sure.
Yeah.
Avik Kabessa, the CEO of Carmel and a board member of the Livery Roundtable. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.